we'll take a look at who the president is looking at to fill the latest hole in his staff.
Then, Newsbreak's Ariel Majewski shows us how students celebrated Hanukkah on campus this year.
And stick around, we'll put you right in the Huff Hall crowd as the Illinois volleyball team continued to blaze their way through the NCAA tournament. Your UI7 Newsbreak starts now. Hello, I'm Steve Moody.
And I'm Taylor Mattingly.
President Trump has announced that his Chief of Staff, John Kelly, will be leaving his position at the end of the year.
It is unclear who Trump will name as Kelly's successor, but according to reports, he was considering Vice President Pence's Chief of Staff.
President Trump scrambling tonight as the hasty search for his next Chief of Staff continues, with no clear replacement in sight.
John Kelly will be leaving at the end of the year.
Who will replace John Kelly is now an open question after the top contender, Vice President Mike Pence's Chief of Staff, Nick Ayers, turned the president down because they couldn't agree on timing. Trump wanted a 2-year commitment, but Ayers only wanted to run the West Wing on a temporary basis.
It might be on an interim basis. I'll be announcing that over the next day or two.
Trump writing on Twitter that he's in the process of interviewing some really great people and will make a decision soon, but denying he was close to making a deal with Ayers, even though sources say they'd already drafted a statement announcing his hiring before the negotiations fell apart. Despite having no obvious candidate in mind, Trump already has a to-do list for his next Chief of Staff, including shifting the West Wing's priorities away from legislation and policy to politics, according to sources who added that the president wanted Ayers to conduct a full review of West Wing operations, including staffing, because he's growing increasingly anxious about his political future, telling aides he needs all the help he can get before January, when newly empowered House Democrats take over.
Are you at all concerned about what happens next with the White House without John Kelly?
Well, it depends who they put in as a replacement.
The job hunt now underway and familiar names are resurfacing, including Congressman Mark Meadows, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin, White House Budget Director Mick Mulvaney, and U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer. But not all of those being floated sound like they're up to the daunting task.
Is that a job you want?
The president has given me what is a very difficult job. I'm very, very happy doing it.
As Trump searches for his third Chief of Staff in under 2 years, his critics are reminding him of this tweet from 2012, when he criticized President Barack Obama for having 3 Chiefs of Staff in less than 3 years.
Kelly has been a part of the Trump administration since July of 2017, when he replaced the president's first Chief of Staff, Reince Priebus.
While George H.W. Bush has been laid to rest, many Americans are still honoring the former president. Bush continues to be on the minds of many following his passing November 30th. He was honored with a moment of silence before the annual Army-Navy football game. Bush was a lieutenant in the Navy from 1942 to 1945, and he was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross and Air Medals for his service. Bush was laid to rest next to his wife Barbara and late daughter Robin near his presidential library in College Station, Texas, where many have visited the site to pay their respects.
The Supreme Court met Monday to decide which cases to hear. Their decision rejected 2 famous cases appealed by states. The Supreme Court declined hearing appeals from Kansas and Louisiana in a Medicaid case. The 2 states were appealing local court decisions that blocked them from choosing which providers could receive funding from the federal government. Although both Kansas and Louisiana were accused of discriminating against Planned Parenthood when choosing their recipients, the High Court assured the public that the decision had nothing to do with the topic of abortion. Chief Justice Roberts was one of the justices to decline hearing the state's arguments. The appeal needed 4 votes to be approved for hearing. It only received 3.
Towards the end of November, the Unit 4 school district came to an agreement about the teachers' contracts. The Champaign Federation of Teachers has been negotiating the agreements with the school board since May. In November, the CFT filed an intent to strike after multiple negotiation meetings. The contract was ratified, but some say there's still more that needs to be done.
Approach to addressing the achievement gap was to include additional time to collaborate with specific to the equity work and specific to the achievement gap, and that did not make it into the final draft of this contract.
The common phrase, we heard was that a strike wouldn't be good for anyone, but that doesn't mean all the problems have been solved yet.
People are coming together as a community to address the increased violence in Champaign County. One local minister thinks he may have a peaceful solution. The Champaign County Community Coalition was started in 2009 to improve community and police relations. The coalition recently started the Gun Violence Subcommittee to brainstorm solutions to resolve the violence. One committee member, Dublin Street Minister Courtney Carruthers, explained how talking out a conflict can deter gun violence.
And that there are ways that we can overcome the gun violence through reasonable talks, helping young men and women to work out the issues with each other without shooting.
All community coalition meetings are open to the public.
We're taking a short break, but after we'll show you how one neighborhood in Urbana is getting lit with the Christmas spirit.
And later in the show, our field reporter Ariel Majewski reports on how Hillel celebrated Hanukkah this year.
Hey guys, how are you today?
Good.
I'm here to talk about how with technology you can make amazing worlds. Come with me. My team and I groomed the Halo world to life.
Is that you?
That is me. I wasn't a math genius and I knew nothing about coding. But you guys do. You guys have the power to change things.
I want your job.
I want you to have my job.
Red shirt, blue shirt, yellow shirt, oops. Yellow pants, red pants, green pants, oops.
Oh, sweetie. Okay, you know what? Let's take off his sweatshirt. Get rid of pictures of him. You don't have to look at him. Goodbye, Dave.
Mom, you don't understand. He's tagged in like 400 of my posts.
I can cut out tags.
No, that's not how it works.
What is a tag?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care would love to share their first with you.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
For many families, December is a month to create memories with loved ones. UI7 Newsbreak's Mariah McBride shares how one family prepares for the holiday season.
But to Christopher Coleman and his wife, it's more than their appearance that
was crooked at the trunk.
Christmas trees come in all shapes and sizes.
Flat on this side, though.
And some may be a little more flat than others. But to Christopher Coleman and his wife, it's more than their appearance that make them special.
It sets the tone for the holidays, you know. We don't do it right after Thanksgiving. We wait till it gets a little closer. And it's like tonight, it'll be a big deal decorating it. Just be me and her, and we have a little eggnog and some music and candles. It really sets the tone as the season changes. Good old family Christmas tree this year.
Nice.
Every year, Coleman picks a new location for their tree hunt, hoping to create memorable experiences for a lifetime.
Where's your last name?
Christmas trees like this can create special memories this holidays for families, but it is important that you take safety precautions when setting up your tree this holiday.
Real Christmas trees can be a fire hazard is because when people buy them, sometimes they don't keep water in them and they dry out.
As Coleman and his wife waits for their tree to be cut, wrapped in string, and tied, he already has some techniques in mind to keep his family safe.
Make sure they're watered regularly. We add sugar to the water because that's supposed to keep them more moist.
With their search for a tree now complete, the Coleman family has a new holiday memory. In Rantoul, Mariah McBride, UI7 Newsbreak.
Climate change is hard to see, and so are the little ways of helping the environment. By turning off lights, you can reduce more than greenhouse gas use than you realize. A group of university students is sparking that change on campus, flicking switches, pulling chains, and pressing buttons. That's what the members of the sustainability organization called IC do on Friday nights to take the spark out of pollution. 20 campus buildings go dark, just enough time to shut down over 27,000 light bulbs in the past 6 events this year. In the past 2 years, IC has saved over 47,000 kilowatt hours of energy. That's about 108 tons of carbon dioxide. Think of about 11 houses worth of CO2 production and over $13,000 of savings. IC will continue to offer this program next semester.
Excess levels of gas can keep you from selling your house, and overexposure can be dangerous. But many homeowners don't think about the gas until they are ready to sell their homes. Radon is a tasteless and odorless gas, but it is something that homeowners need to be aware of. Radon is the leading cause of lung cancer among non-smokers, and many homeowners don't think to check the levels of it in their home until they're ready to sell. Home improvement stores sell self-testing kits that can check the levels in your home in about 2 weeks, or you can have a professional test it with a continuous monitor.
Decorating houses is one way to celebrate Christmas, and one specific neighborhood in Urbana is all lit up. Newsbreak's Yuhan Ma went to Candlestick Lane, which once again will bring Christmas cheer to fans all over the area.
The official lighting ceremony for Candlestick Lane took place on Saturday. As the crowd followed and cheered, the neighborhood was lighted up house by house, inspiring the holiday traditions of countless families from near and far.
All right, Michaela's going to see if this one...
Beth Waldhauser has participated in the tradition for 3 years. The first time of starting everything, however, was not an easy task for her.
When I first moved here, I didn't have a lot of money, and I was like, how can I do this on a budget? I went out seeking free Christmas trees when people were giving them away, so that helped a lot because I was able to start with something.
Among all the Christmas trees, this one is Waldhauser's favorite. She is a big Illini basketball fan, that's why orange and blue is always the theme she's going for.
The Christmas spirit that got passed on by generations of residents here brought new excitements every year.
We've got a lot of new neighbors, and when somebody moves out, they leave the Candlestick Lane, they leave the candle in the sale of the home. So if someone buys the property, they buy the home as well, and then they receive that candle as well, and inviting them to participate in a 55-year tradition.
What motivated Waldhauser to always create the best presentation of her house was the joy that gets shared among countless people.
It brings people that I don't know. I can say, hey, I live on Candlestick Lane, and people are like, oh, I know where that is, and I'll be like, mine's the Illini house, and they'll know which house is mine, and they'll be like, oh, I remember that from last year. So that's been kind of exciting.
The lane will be lit up every night from 5 to 10 p.m. until New Year's Eve. In Urbana, I'm Yuhan Ma, UI7 Newsbreak.
It's the season of giving. One local organization is making Christmas possible for those children whose parents can't afford to buy Christmas gifts for them. When people think about the Salvation Army, they often think about the red buckets and bell ringers. But the Salvation Army Angel Tree Project is in full swing this holiday season. Volunteers are set up at Marketplace Mall in Champaign every day through December 15th. The Angel Tree Project has been going on since 1979, and it helps low-income families with their Christmas gifts. Christmas tree lights aren't the only ones brightening up campus this past week. The 8 days of Hanukkah were celebrated from December 2nd to the 10th. UI7 Newsbreak's field reporter Ariel Majewski is here in the studio to tell us more.
Thanks, Taylor. Yes, I had the opportunity on Sunday to see how students celebrated Hanukkah at the Illini Hillel. I talked to a rabbi who actually had the same name as me, ironically, just pronounced a little bit differently, Ariel about spending time together as a community, especially as some students like Gail Schneiderman partake in this family custom away from home for the very first time.
It's the 7th day of the Jewish holiday of dedication, which means almost fully lit menorahs were gleaming around those who gathered together in prayer and song. For freshman Gail Schneiderman, this is her first Hanukkah away from home. While she admits it's difficult not spending time with family, she's excited to bond with others across campus and recalls memories with siblings.
the menorahs. We love setting them up because we use candles. We use different colors, so we do different patterns every single night. Siblings and I fight to clean them because they get all waxy, so they're really fun to clean, actually.
Whether it be indulging in a deep-fried souffignon, playing games, or simply catching up with friends, Rabbi Ariel is excited to see students to take a few spare minutes of their time in good company, especially in the midst of finals.
To thrive as a community of a variety of different people, of different ways in which we come together with all of these traditions, we use these traditions, but we're all still one.
So one of the traditional games during Hanukkah is the dreidel, which is a multiplayer game, and there's 4 sides to the dreidel, and each side translates to a total of a great miracle. And as I spin on my turn, depending on what I get, I can get some of the pot or all. And let's see. Oh, looks like I have to put one back. I'm not lucky this time. As an upcoming VP Jewish Leadership Chair for Hillel next year, Schneiderman is excited to share her faith, values, and acts of kindness with others.
As a Jewish student and just as a student, as a person in general, I could really light myself up with it and light others around, and just, I guess the flame of Hanukkah inspired my flame to shine really bright this year.
Another flame that never burns out. In Champaign, Ariel Majewski, UI7 Newsbreak.
And we'll be back after a short break with the weather.
Almost feel like every Friday I have a date. He'll have a vest or a jacket.
She sees me at my best.
Drop off a warm meal and get more than you expect. Volunteer at americaletsdolunch.org.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
Welcome back. Here is Yuhan Ma with the weather.
Hi. All right. So last week we have experienced some really cold winter, snowy weathers, but luckily we're gonna have some warmer temperatures in the upcoming week. First of all, let's look at our local temperatures. Right now at Champaign-Urbana is 35 degrees, and as we can see, there's some similar temperatures around this area. We have 36 at Peoria and 35 at Bloomington Normal, and a little bit warmer down at Springfield, but honestly not much difference. Moving on to Midwest temperatures. Still, we're seeing a lot of mid-30s temperatures on the north, a little bit colder at Indianapolis with temperatures of 32, and we have 35 at Des Moines and 33 at Chicago. Down at the south, however, we've got some over 40 temperatures. We have 45 at Kansas City, which is quite warm compared to what we have right now. Moving on to national temperatures, on the south, west coast, we have 48 at Seattle, and of course, much warmer down in the south. We have 66 in Los Angeles as well as Phoenix. Tonight is mostly cloudy with a low of 30 and a little bit windy. For tomorrow, it's still going to be a mostly cloudy day with a high of 41, so a little bit warmer, but the wind is still going strong. On Thursday and Saturday, the rain is going to last, and luckily we're going to have some partly sunny weather on Sunday with a high of 44 and low of 28.
I'm really excited to be getting some warmer temperatures.
Yes, pretty moderate temperatures, I think, for winter season.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
And in extreme weather news, the southeastern United States has been slammed by a winter storm, dropping record amount of snow and rain on the region, leaving many without power. While the storm is mostly past, the southeastern U.S. is still reeling from the damage it caused. North Carolina was hit the hardest, and about 140,000 homes in the state are still without power. That hasn't stopped some from enjoying the massive snowdrifts, a rare sight in the temperate state.
Taylorville is still recovering from the damage left by a tornado. The EF3 whirlwind left the town in pieces. More than 500 structures were damaged in Taylorville. Wind speeds around 155 miles per hour tore roofs off of homes, busted windows, and knocked down trees. The tornado was so powerful that the National Weather Service labeled it as the strongest one to hit that area since 1950. 20 people were injured, but no lives were lost. Tune into Newsbreak tomorrow for in-depth coverage of the situation.
And we're taking one last short break, but don't even think about changing the channel. Sports director Will Bro is here to preview sports.
Coming up, find out how the triumphant Illini volleyball team has come. And on the other end of the spectrum, the Chicago Bulls have quickly become completely dysfunctional. All when we come back.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But I get it, you're busy, and busy people can't have prediabetes. I read that wrong. They can, okay? Just go to the site.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self, and I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Why don't you ever see elephants hiding in trees? Because they're really good at it. Yeah, I get it.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Welcome back. The Illinois volleyball team beat Wisconsin in 4 sets Saturday to punch their ticket to the Final Four in Minneapolis. UI7's Jacob Diaz went to Huff Hall to talk to the team and their middle blocker about the team's success.
On the court at Huff Hall, life comes at you fast. For senior Allie Bastianelli, her 4 years at Illinois seem to have flown right by. But each year has held something a little different for the All-American, and this year turned into a special one. The Illini were the first team to secure a Final Four berth and were able to do so on their home court.
I hear there's not many tickets left, so that's great to know that it's probably going to be a sellout.
It was a sellout for all 4 matches.
But when it's a sellout in here, it's unlike any other gym. Like, there's no feeling or no words to describe the feeling of what it's like to just walk out from the locker room and just see everyone clapping and cheering for you.
Bastianelli, along with her fellow seniors Jordan Poulter and Blake Hronika, have been to the tournament twice before. Their experience and leadership has helped their new coach find success right away.
This is only Coach Chris Thomas's second year with the team, but having an All-American as a senior leader like Allie Bastianelli has really helped him out transitioning.
Just from the stuff that we do downstairs, making sure we're going to class, making sure we're examples, just not on the court, but off the court as well. And they do a great job of leading the team in that way.
But the seniors don't just help Thomas. They also help each other.
Jordan and Blake, as seniors, they challenge me and push me to get better. So I think our team dynamic is really cool.
Bastianelli and the Illini will take that dynamic to Minneapolis, where they face Nebraska on Thursday for a spot in the national title game. In Champaign, I'm Jacob Diaz, UI7 Newsbreak.
U of I Athletic Director Josh Whitman recently announced that Lovie Smith's contract has been extended 2 years to the already agreed 6. This has sparked interest in opposing sides to this decision amongst Fighting Illini fans.
Ryan Landecker and his family are Champaign residents and have been huge U of I football fans for years. His family has had season tickets for football games since before he was born and has been going to games his entire life. He feels that the extension of Coach Lovey's contract was unnecessary considering he already has 3 more years to show improvement in the team.
Pretty cool, like just how different Memorial Stadium looks compared to now. I think with the talent we have around the team, a lot of the sophomores and freshmen, they're really good. Marquez Beeson, I think he's going to be a first-round draft pick once he enters the draft 2 or 3 years from now. So, I mean, I think we're going in the right direction, but I definitely am not a fan of the extension.
He hopes that Lovey will continue to be able to bring in more recruits for the team to help build the program.
Orange wig, that was me.
Coach Lovey Smith's contract extension has sparked a lot of interest in Illini football's future. Many hope that it will bring a lot of improvement in how the team has been progressing.
In his announcement, Athletic Director Josh Whitman talked about how he has examined and studied the football program's progression and how he feels that this was the right decision for the future of the team.
And so as we evaluated different strategies heading into this offseason, this is the one that we believe puts us in the strongest position going forward to ultimately bring that success to Illinois football.
Mitchell Hayden is a U of I student who has also been a big Illini football fan for many years. He's excited to hear about the contract extension and believes that this will allow Lovey to really help develop the program.
I think it's really good because, like I said, it's somebody that's been on the national scale before. It's somebody that people know. It's somebody that people recognize. And I think he has a lot of potential, and so I think this contract extension is going to give the team a lot of potential.
Players from the Chicago Bulls have contacted the National Basketball Players Association in regards to what they believe to be extreme tactics used by Jim Boylan. He was made head coach last week, and that has led to tension in the team. After a franchise-worst 56-point loss to the Boston Celtics Saturday, the Chicago Bulls met for practice Sunday, although they refused to take the court. There were discussions amongst team members and with the coaching staff. Players of the team have also contacted the NBPA regarding the harsh tactics that Boylan has apparently been using in practices. Boylan has tried to downplay the issue by claiming that it was his decision to not practice on Sunday.
What a strange weekend in sports, huh?
Oh, absolutely. It's been crazy with the Bulls, with the huge Bulls loss. But then we had, on Sunday, we had that huge switch with the Bears pulling out that W against the Rams. Totally crazy game with how many interceptions both quarterbacks, Trubisky and Goff, had throughout that game. It was just very hectic to watch throughout the game. It was very weird.
I just like how the Bears proved defense can still win in the NFL.
Both defenses that game did phenomenal, and it was just really fun to watch the Bears really come out and win that weekend.
And our own Illini women's volleyball, so great, Final Four, look at that.
Very exciting game, absolutely.
And I don't know about you guys, but I am ready for winter break.
Yes.
What is everyone doing for your Christmas holiday break?
I'm going back to my family at Elgin, and so definitely it's going to be a lot of Christmas parties and big family meetups. So, yeah, I'm excited about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What about you, Steve?
I'm actually going to go see my uncle down in Tennessee for a little bit, but then I'm coming back for Christmas, so I'll get a little bit of that southern weather.
There you go. And Will?
We'll be spending some time downtown to Chicago with the family. Be getting to enjoy all the city has to offer, as well as going to some events. We'll be checking out Second City, a comedy act downtown. So it'll be a good time with the family and be able to enjoy all that Chicago has to offer in terms of a city.
I definitely cannot wait for some Christmas cookies and, of course, unwrapping presents at Christmas. So I'm definitely excited and ready for it. As always, for more of our stories, please follow us on Facebook.
Or see more of our stories on our YouTube page.
And that is all we have for this final edition of UI7 Newsbreak.
For Yuhan Ma, Will Bro, and Taylor Mattingly, and I, Steve Moody, here in the studio, and from everyone behind the cameras, thanks for watching us this semester. And from our family to yours, have a great holiday season and winter break. This has been your final UI7 Newsbreak, and now for a special goodbye.
두 번 생각해 흔한 난